everybody. We are ending the day on such a high note with Alessia Cara right here. She has her performance of the day at 7:55 at Bacardi Stage tonight. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Have you been enjoying the festival grounds so far? You said you just got here, but have you been seeing things?
I just got here, but like I was saying, I really want to go and see, like, there's like this aura booth, apparently, where they like read your aura and like tell you about yourself and stuff.
Love that.
Because I can, need all the help I can get. Any info on myself would be lovely. So I'm gonna go and do that if I can. I'll like sneak away and try to do that.
And are you really excited to perform here tonight?
I am. I'm really excited. This was like my first festival, or like one of the first festivals I'd ever played back in 2015.
Oh my God! Wow!
Yeah,
right around that time, huh?
Around that time, yeah.
Crazy.
So it means a lot to be back.
Wow, that's a great festival to play very early on, especially at that time.
Yeah, it was wild. It was a big day. I think it was the and I know it was the year that Stevie Wonder headlined.
Yeah.
So I got to watch him. It was like the biggest day ever.
That's
so
amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
You've kind of been doing a few shows this year. I saw you did a show at Bottle Rock, Napa. You did a show at Ottawa Blues Festival, and now you're here at Life is Beautiful. How has the festival circuit been treating you this year? Have you been enjoying kind of getting back out there and performing at some of these big stages?
It's been awesome. I've loved it. I love festival season because, one, it's like summertime, which is always fun. I have a new record that I didn't have the chance to tour because of COVID, so this is like my little tease of a tour, just getting to like go around different cities and like playing the new stuff. It's really nice.
You mentioned your new record. Obviously, like, I feel like you have so much material that you could possibly kind of jam into one set list.
Yeah.
How do you end up figuring out, at least this year for the past few shows, how did you figure out what goes where and how to kind of build out your set list?
It's tough. I feel like the more albums you get through, or like the more projects you release, like the more difficult it is to like piece together like an hour set or a half-hour set, because there's just so much more music, and naturally, like, selfishly, I want to play all the new stuff. Like, I would not play the old stuff if it was up to me, but of course a lot of people know me for, the classics, so I gotta give it to them. And it's always fun to hear them sing along to the old stuff too. But it's tough. You gotta just like figure out what works and what flows, and the right amount of ballads, the right amount of up-tempo stuff.
Right, and how it all comes together like that.
Yeah.
Times to get hyped, times to kind of like calm down,
to chill,
whatever.
Yeah.
For your shows, especially as of late, is there anything that you want your fans to leave with, whether it be kind of an emotion or maybe an understanding a little bit more of the music? Is there anything that you just want your fans to come away from seeing you with?
I mean, lots of things. I mean, if they feel anything, that's great. But I think, coming out of like the crazy, weird time that, 2020 and 2021 were, I hope that they get that, like, just that sense of connectivity back, and just being in a space with all kinds of people, and understanding that we're, all feeling the same things at the same time, and like how powerful it is to be in the same place at the same time, enjoying something, and just like the power of numbers and being together. I hope they like feel that sense of connectivity again, because we lost that for a long time.
Yeah, and that's really important now. I mean, like, music is such a uniting factor. I feel like, and when you can be around other people that appreciate it in the way that you do, especially, for example, like a lot of your fans, I imagine, come to your shows and are able to create their own community and kind of understand each other on a deeper level because of it.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what I hope that they gather from it. So, yeah. Or just give them a little escapism, too. Everybody needs that once in a while.
Totally. Yeah. And this seems to be one of your last shows for the year, if I'm not mistaken. What are you going to be up to for the rest of the year? Or do you have plans to work on some music, or plans to just kind of relax and hang out?
I mean, I would love to relax and do that as well, but my brain never lets me do that. And yeah, I think I'm just going to be working on a new project, new stuff. As I've been, experiencing life, we've been like locked in the house for so much time, so there's like so many experiences that come with that, and so many thoughts. So probably just gonna be writing, trying to take it easy as well, not forcing anything, but just trying to make new stuff and keep growing as a songwriter and producer too. I want to learn more of that, and rely on my own skills too.
Yeah, I feel like growth is such like it's such a cornerstone of your career, at least, and I feel like you talk about growth a lot in your material when it comes to like the album titles, maybe even.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
And within the lyrics of songs. When you kind of look back, you mentioned earlier, like, of course, like, you exploded in 2015 at the time, and when you look back on that kind of music, how do you really listen to yourself, or do you listen to music that you've already made that far back?
Honestly, I don't. It's weird because even if like a song of mine, like an old song comes on the radio, like I have to change it.
Really?
I feel like, nobody wants to hear themselves, especially like screaming at you when you're like 16. Like it's like imagine like a capsule of you when you were like 16 to 18 years old and like having it like blared
Oh,
at you again. Like
so much
no one
acne.
wants yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like my voice was so I'm like, ew, why did I sing that note? Why did I do that? Why am I screaming? Why did I pick this lyric? Like like you just pick it apart. It's like your journal when you're 16
Right.
out in the
That
public.
happens
It makes me
to
cringe.
be read by everybody.
Yeah, you know,
That
it's like,
exists.
I can't. I mean, I appreciate it for what it is, and I love it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like I would not be here without it. So there is a special place in my heart for it, but I'm not just like listening to it. I can't. Like it's just my voice. I'm just like, why?
You brought up something very interesting when you talked about it, about the vocals and your choices, like when you were songwriting at the time versus maybe songwriting now. With your voice, how have you seen that grown over time? Has it grown in terms of the decisions you make, or has it grown more so in the form of technique and how you deliver things?
I think a bit of both. That's a great question. Yeah, definitely both. I think naturally on one end, like my control has just gotten better in terms of vibrato and depth of my range has just gotten so much better. But also I think my melodic choices I think have gotten a little bit more not risky. That has like a negative connotation. But I guess taken more risks
Sure.
vocally and changed things up a little bit in ways that I wouldn't have back in the day. So now listening to my old songs, singing them how I sing them now live, I'm just like, I wish I had done this on the record back
Wow.
then, you know?
That is interesting. So
Yeah.
you do at your live performances, right? When you play your old songs, you sing them differently.
I do. I mean, not entirely differently, but I do change it up. I guess, I don't know if it's as much of a conscious thing as much as it's just like I've sang them so much over the years that naturally the melodies have sort of changed and
Yeah,
shifted and
sure.
they've just, taken on their own life. So
Totally.
going, like if I ever do happen to hear the original versions, I'm like, oh, I wish I had like thought about doing this in
Yeah.
the original encapsulated version because now the world just has the
Have you ever thought
standard.
about re-recording any original material to kind of match your newer voice at any point?
I don't know. Maybe I would. That would be interesting. Maybe I would do that and like spruce up the production, change up some things, and like make the choices that I would make now.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I don't know. Maybe I will give you credit if I do that.
Please do.
We have it. It's on tape now, so we know
I'll
it's
take
your
what I
idea.
can get. I will
Yeah.
use this clip at the end of my life.
Yes. It would be cool though. It would be cool.
So now that we kind of talked about the musical shift or like the vocal shift that you've had between then and now, something else I'd like to kind of dive into a bit is how you personally have changed. Because obviously like you at 16, you at 18 is not going to be you at your current age, right?
Yeah,
So you personally in the past year, when it comes related to songwriting, what have you been really focusing on? Is it more still personal experience driven? Is it still kind of journalistic? Or is there something else that you've added recently?
Mainly journalistic. I think just the way that I approach writing is kind of the way that I approach my life. They're very like hand in hand to me. Like every time I feel a very strong feeling that I want to get out, I get it out through music. So that element of journalisticness is always going to be there. But I have tried to expand a little bit too and play with, the idea of like just story writing and character driven songs and I've done that on my last album, dabbled in that and just kind of writing from the perspectives of people that either don't exist or people that do exist in my life and what they're going through because it can be kind of limiting to like only write about what you're experiencing.
Sure.
Because especially when you're someone like me who tends to deal with the same things and the same issues over and over again, so it's nice to like pick from other people's lives and things like that and expand. It helps with the story writing for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
And when you think about the music that you've written recently, like anything off In the Meantime or like Shapeshifter is a song that I listen to a lot actually. And I think
That's awesome. Thank you.
it's very jazzy and soul. And I feel like you've always had that kind of jazz edge to you a little bit, your vocals and your kind of approach to things. But lately when it comes to diversifying your music and the genres that you associate with it, what are you looking at for yourself in terms of style nowadays?
That's an ongoing search for me, I think, and an ever-changing one. It's tough because like some days I wake up and I'm like, I want to make like a jazz album, and then I'm like, I want to make a folk album, and I just the problem almost. It's a great problem to have, but I love so many different aspects of music and so many different genres of music that it's tough to like figure out exactly what I want to do. And I think that's why every song of mine just sounds a bit different. I just like sprinkle in one thing here and another thing there. But I mean, I don't know. Usually the music I make is a reflection of what I'm listening to in the moment. I mean, right now it's a lot of like rock and like 70s alt-y weird stuff.
Perfect location for that too.
Yeah, I know. It's actually perfect. Very inspiring. So who knows? Maybe I'll sprinkle some of that into the new stuff, but we'll see.
What artists have you been really diving into as of late?
Ooh, good question. Again, I listen to so much of everything. Let's see. There's a band called Krungbin. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Okay, Krungbin.
Sweet. It's a lot of instrumental stuff, but I've been loving that. I just recently went to Italy, and that was all I was playing. I was just playing that. A lot of Otis Redding, a lot of Al Green, a lot of Allman Brothers.
Wow, nice. Where'd you go in Italy, by the way? Just curiosity.
I went to the south. So I went to visit my family. We're from the south. We're from Calabria. So I went there, and then I took a car and drove across like the coast of the south. It was awesome. It was like we did like 2,000 kilometers in the car, but it was like the best. It was so fun.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Yeah, I'm actually supposed to go to Italy at the end of the year this year for like a solid week.
Oh, sweet.
So any recommendations would be phenomenal.
Yeah, where are you going in Italy?
So I will be going to Rome and then going to the south, but unconfirmed where in the south we will be. So anything would be great.
Oh my God, I will. I'll give you a list.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, all the places you should go.
Well, Alessia, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and taking the time to be here. It's been so great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.